Today's episode is with Dr. Jermaine Johnson, former head of Yang 2020 South Carolina, and now a state senator. But first, hello, nerds.
Hello again, nerd.
Jermaine, I swear, man, I think you might have been one of the very first guests we've ever had on the show. And that was certainly a lot has happened. A lot has transpired since you running Yang 2020 South Carolina and today. Catch us up, man. What's going on in your world?
Oh man, well, thank you for having me on here again, man. It's always a pleasure to be on here with you, man. Since all of that, y'all know I ran for office here in South Carolina.
How did it work out? What happened?
Well, well, I'm glad you asked. I am now a South Carolina House of Representatives District 80. So
the new 80.
Yeah, the new 80, man. I won my race, and it was official as of November 9th. I became the new representative. It's all over the South Carolina House page, the state house page, and it's everywhere, man. So it's official now. People look me up. I will look up the district representatives and the elected officials. My name is up there now, man. My picture and all that. So official.
Congratulations, dude. That's
thank you, man. It was hard. It was hard work, man. But hey, we're in there.
So your opponent is not claiming that there were dumpsters full of fake ballots that got Jermaine Johnson in there, or has he conceded?
To be honest, I have no idea. I don't know what he's doing. The guy I ran against, he was a no name. He hadn't been around. He hadn't been out there. You just saw some signs out in the community, but he hadn't called. He hadn't conceded or whatever. I mean, he just kind of disappeared like he had been in the first place. So,
what was that decision to run like? Was that something that you kind of knew you would do at some point, and it was just sort of like when, or like tell us a little bit about how you went from head of Yang 2020 South Carolina to running for office yourself?
Man, it was something that I didn't really think that it was going to happen. I was teetering back and forth with myself. And then when Yang came to South Carolina, he kind of made it official for me, man. Like he was, he like announced it like
he drafted you
6 months ahead of schedule. I was like, dude, like I haven't even said anything. I haven't even decided this yet. And he told people in my community, like, yeah, and Jermaine is going to be running for office here. Like, oh my God. So it was way before, I hadn't even decided if I was going to do it or not. I was going back and forth with some of my advisors on, if I wanted to involve my family in this. That my biggest concern was my children and my wife, because I know they would always have to, be on guard. And, if somebody said anything, they would have to defend their dad or defend their husband. And that's just one thing. I just, I went back and forth with myself about that. If I wanted to have my family involved, but so, with me having the support of my family, it kind of helped me out with my decision. But I'm just, I'm all about my family first. I want to know, how they think and how they feel about any life-changing decisions like this. So,
what was that like for the family as you were running? Did they find that you were less accessible because you were kind of campaigning 24/7, or how was that like?
Yeah, my wife, but she's my biggest team player, man. I tell you, my wife is a superstar in this, man. She's now the first lady of the District 80, of the new 80, man. She's first lady. Yeah, and she's excited now, but she wasn't on board in the beginning, but she is always a supporting teammate for me. So anything I needed, she was there. She took on a bulk of the home stuff, and dealing with my children, and taking care of everything that we needed to have taken care of. So, it made it a lot easier for myself because, every day is always a meeting or an interview or a campaign event or something, and I always had to have somebody there. And my wife was, fortunate to be able to just take on a lot of that stuff, that parenting duties. I mean, it's just, I was thinking the other day, like, man, this has got to be stressful for spouses and family members, man, when a guy like, because it's like the candidate belongs to the world. And, it's just like everything else is going on at the house or, with people's families. So it's these families, they have to be praised, man, for everything they have to go through.
Totally. Yeah. They don't get any of the credit, but they have to put up with a lot of the,
oh my God,
the downside. Yeah. So what's the timing like for, let's just say thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
Yes,
for being in Jermaine's corner.
She is the real Dr. Johnson, man. She is, she's the real Dr. Johnson. She's a doctor of pharmacy. So she keeps me well, whenever I get sick, I'll be like, oh, babe, I'm sick, I'm ill, help me.
So where's your prescription?
What should I take for this? She knows all the secret hacks, man. So if y'all didn't know, if you all are drinkers on here, you make sure that you take ibuprofen before you drink. I had no idea that was a real thing. So you take ibuprofen before you drink, and then the next day you won't have a hangover. Yeah,
I would have thought it would be the morning after ibuprofen, but it sounds like it's the afternoon before.
yeah, it's great, man. I tell you, man, she knows all the life hacks, man.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about the schedule. When do you get sworn in? When do you show up for work?
So, I had orientation on last week already with the other members that won, the other House members that won. I mean, it was very eye opening. It's so much information. I actually have my book right here sitting in front of me. It's a big, thick binder of just about that thick of information that I need to learn and all this stuff about being in office. So it already started. I'm already getting calls. I'm already being asked to do this, to show up here, go to the different places on behalf of my district. The reorganization starts on December 1st. That's when we'll all be up at the State House, all the members. We're going to all take the oath of office then. And December 2nd, December 2nd is the second part of it. And then we have a retreat for the Legislative Black Caucus, and then, all this other stuff. But I have not announced yet. So this is exclusive.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I know you love exclusive stuff, man.
Bring it, Ted.
This is exclusive here. So I'm currently planning a ceremonial swearing in for the new 80 on December 4th. And I believe a special friend guest of ours will be here on the steps of the State House with me in South Carolina to say some words about gang and the new 80. Yeah, wink, wink, if y'all know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who that could be.
You don't know that?
I don't know. Maybe will there be some math dude? Will there be math involved?
Well, Matt will definitely be involved.
Matt will be in the house.
Yeah. So he's supposed to be here on December 4th to
in person.
To be a part of my swearing in.
I love it.
Yeah,
well, he should be down in that sort of part of the country, right? Yeah. I love it. Well, that's so exciting for you. Tell us a little bit about what was the most surprising thing you learned at orientation where you're like, whoa, I didn't realize that, or just like, wow, that's really nuts, or that's going to be a lot of work. Like anything that came up that you felt like was really different than what you expected.
Absolutely. So the relationship between lobbyists and elected officials and state house officials, I didn't really realize all of the red tape that goes between lobbyists and state house officials. It's like you can't really receive or get anything or do anything with lobbyists at all. Let's say a lobbyist has a situation downtown, you can't even help them to say, hey, here, let me just give you this for a taxi or something. Like, you can't do anything with a lobbyist. However, the loophole is a lobbyist can give stuff to your wife or give stuff to your family members. So, which makes no sense. They can't give it directly to you, but they can give stuff to your family members. So in order just for me to stay clear, I had a conversation after I learned that. I had a conversation with my wife. I said, listen, I don't care, what lobbyist comes to you. You don't accept anything from them. And we're gonna have a conversation with the entire family to let everybody in the family know that, listen, if a lobbyist comes to you and wants to get to me through you, do not accept anything. Just walk away. Don't say nothing. But apparently lobbyists, man, the relationship between lobbyists and elected officials, man, is a really involved one, man. Like, you have to learn a lot about that. So I'm just going to steer clear of them altogether.
Yeah. No, that's smart. What are some of the big kind of special interests that are kind of involved or engaged, let's say, in South Carolina politics these days? I'm curious.
Man, I've gotten emails and phone calls from everybody, man, from all different types of organizations that want support, that want help with different things. I mean, just all different types of things, man. Like the truckers, I've got an email from the truckers. I've gotten information from outdoor advertising, automobile associations. I mean, all different types of things. Women's Rights and Empowerment Network. I mean, just everybody, man, has been reaching out, congratulating, but also saying, hey, I'd like to, talk to you, or hey, we want to know where what you're going to do and how we can assist. So, I mean, it's just everybody has their own emergency issue. And it's just, for myself, it's just going to be about prioritizing which one needs to come first and, put them down the line. So, yeah, man, it's been a crazy time, and I'm still answering emails, still responding to phone calls, still replying back to text messages, man. I mean, it's crazy. I've got 2 phones and I still can't keep up with everything. It's just, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. So I'm just taking it all in, and I'm really leaning on some senior officials that are, in my area, and those senior officials, at least one of my favorites. So I've got 2 favorite House members that are here in South Carolina. One of them is Wendy Brawley, and Wendy Brawley, she's District 70. She's right next to me. So my district and her district are neighbors. And she's been just a great support system for me. Her and Crystal Matthews, Representative Crystal Matthews. Those 2 have been some great pieces of advice and information for me. They've been able to, they answer my call every time I call them. And they're like, all right, listen, Jermaine, we're going to walk you through this. So, yeah, man, they've been great. And I believe we're going to be able to do some good things.
Well, have you had any of, and have you taken any meetings yet with these groups that have areas that they're really interested in working with you on? And I'm just curious, what those meetings are like.
I have not. I've called a few people. I've talked to a few people. I've talked to some local county officials, talking about some different things we want to do for the different counties that I represent. But I have not taken any of those meetings with any of those groups. I'm still trying to figure out all the red tape. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not trying to get myself involved with anything until I know all the particulars around everything. I'm right now, I've got the fact that I'm not aligned with anybody in my favor. A lot of these politicians, they come in and they had to kiss the ring of somebody. They had to, get the permission to even run for office, or they align themselves with somebody so they can get into office. And then once they get into office, then they owe favors to everybody. It's like, all right, well, I helped you get this, or I helped you get that. The thing for me, I didn't have to align myself with anybody. I didn't have to align myself. I didn't have to kiss anybody's ring. I actually went against the establishment and I won. So, I had all the incumbents were campaigning against me. They did radio ads against me. They sent flyers out against me. I mean, they did everything in their power to keep me from winning, and yet I still won. And that's why, I've got so much respect from both sides of the aisle right now. They're like, man, Jermaine went against the establishment and he still won. He still won. So I get to make my decisions based on my heart, my values, and how I really want to represent the people of my district and what's in their best interest, without having to go to anybody and say, hey, listen, can you help me with this? I can actually talk to I can really work across the aisle. You know how some people come in there and they say, I'm gonna reach across the aisle, I'm gonna work across the aisle. No, I can really work across the aisle. And one example is one of my freshman members is a Republican who's coming in, and we, you know, he actually went to a college, one of the colleges that I went to, College Charleston, and we talked about, you know, he asked me, hey, I don't know if you'll be okay with nominating me for freshman caucus president, you know, chair, or you know, I don't know how you feel. I said, brother, like I'm fine with that. You're a good guy. You know, I'll be one of you. I'll nominate you. I'll support you. And I voted for this Republican to be the freshman caucus chair. And it's not because for me, it's about people over party. You know, and I sent the email to all of my freshman caucus members, all the people who came in, and I told them, I said, hey, listen, I'm praying that neither side, you know, neither one of us or any of us in here, any of us 15 members, that we allow our parties to dictate how we operate here in the future. I want us to just be as close as we can, and let's be the leaders for every generation that's coming in after us.
Wow, that's an interesting case study. I mean, I'm guessing when that guy asked you to nominate him, at least part of you thought, oh man, somebody's going to use this against me 5 years from now. They're going to be, Jermaine Johnson's not a real progressive. He nominated a Republican. You know, like, were you worried about, because like it is a very tribal time right now. And if any side looks at the other side, it's like a big scandal, and everybody seems to be closing ranks. You seem to be taking a different approach, which I appreciate, but I wonder, like, how do you think that's going to work given how like the system is set up and the parties and everything?
Man, it crossed my mind for a split second, not even a full second. It was like, Jermaine, what about? And then I said, whatever.
You know? Do the right thing.
Yeah, do the right thing, man. And you know, I want to be an example for people, for future individuals who want to come in here and do some things, man. It's not, like I said, you vote people. You know, there are good Republicans, there are bad Republicans. There are good Democrats, there are bad Democrats. There are racist Republicans, there are not racist Republicans. There are racist Democrats and not racist Democrats. I mean, it's about the person. And if you know that, you know, if you know the person and you can, you know, I always pray to my God for discernment. You know, I want to be able to know what type of person this is. I want to be able to feel what type of person is that, you know, this individual is, you know. So if I can get a good sense that you're a good person, and you know, hey, listen, I'm for you. You know, I'm definitely for you. And then in a place like South Carolina, you have to, if you're a Democrat, you have to work with Republicans because they have the majority everywhere. You know, so if you're not, you know, if you don't want to work with Republicans, you probably should not be in office. You know, you shouldn't be there. You know, you have to work with both sides. You have to be able to do that, because if you can't do it, then you're not going to get anything done for the people in your district.
Inferno has a question for you. Do you have any thoughts on legislation you're considering sponsoring or getting involved with once you get in there?
Of course. Of course. No, so the first one, of course, is going to be like an amendment to an already existing bill, law that's in South Carolina, where it's when you're 85 years of age or older, you get a 1% sales tax break. But the problem with that, the life expectancy in South Carolina is 77, and life expectancy in United States is 79. So they want you to live 8 years, at least 8 years past, you know, your life expectancy, past the time they even expect you to live before they give you a 1% sales tax break. And the problem with that is, you know, when's the last time y'all saw an 85-year-old, you know, out at the mall during COVID-19 shopping for themselves? You know, and they want them to go through all the different things. So I want to amend that and bring it down to 70. They'll probably counteract it, you know, and say, hey, all right, well, let's at least bring it in line with the age, with the life expectancy, and that'll be fine. You know, so that's what I at least want to bring that down to the life expectancy, so we can say, hey, listen, at least let's give them an opportunity to enjoy retirement, man. Let's not do that. We did a great job here in South Carolina at selling it as a retirement state. And now we have all these retirees here, but yet we're not taking care of any of them. You know, so I want to be able to take care of them. We have a lot of them that are here that can't pay their bills. They're making their decisions rather to eat or to pay for prescription drugs or, you know, whatever that is. So we at least need to take care of these individuals. And then once I get my feet wet on that, I probably probably for the next filing period, pre-filing period, I'll probably be introducing that Palmetto Dividend Fund, and that is a version of universal basic income, of course, but it's paid for on a local level. So after many conversations with Andrew and some other individuals, we can't pay for it in terms of the $1,000 a month, every month on a local level. So my version, like I said, is called the Palmetto Dividend Fund. That's where they'll be getting $400 stipend per year for every South Carolina age 18 and up. And the reason why is because we know that most Americans cannot afford an unexpected $400 bill. So I want to be able to get that stipend, that they can draw from yearly when they're age 18 and up.
How are you going to pay for it?
Oh man, well I'm glad you asked that as well. So it's all on my website. We got it all broken down. I had some policy writers. We did some joint research and everything. But some of it is taxing people who make more than $150,000 a year. It's like an extra $10 or something like that. And if you're making $150,000 a year in South Carolina, where where the cost of living is extremely low, paying an extra $10, $20 is nothing. So it's doing a little extra tax right there, and then doing a retail tax, moving it up like a 0.5% or 1% or something like that, and that's going to raise some money. And then we have in South Carolina, we have a reoccurring surplus here. Like last year, I think we had $1.9 billion surplus we had in South Carolina. So we're only going to take about 80 million of that and put that towards paying for the Palmetto Dividend Fund. So we can absolutely pay for it. Most people wouldn't even notice it coming out the checks. we wouldn't even notice none of this stuff. But it would be a drastic game changer for the people of South Carolina. What's
the scuttlebutt when you discussed this with some of your freshman peers or the other folks in the state house? What's the response to this idea?
Yeah, I've discussed it with a lot of people, and it's made my explanation a lot easier to do. Because of COVID-19, when COVID hit, it's kind of like all ideas are on the table now. It's like, all right, listen, COVID's here and people are suffering, and we need to figure out some way. So this idea makes a lot more sense now, because people who are making $150,000, $200,000 a year clearly don't need that CARES Act. They don't need that CARES money. People who are at the bottom, who are losing their jobs, who are getting laid off, they could definitely use this stipend here. And even though it won't go a long way, but just a $400 stipend could, some of that can get people through an entire month, 2 months of living, based on with food and shelter, so it's about making that stuff stretch, but it would just be a little less stress for people. And people here are, like I said, they're more open now to that idea than I think they would have been had COVID-19 not hit.
How much of that money is going to go to the corporations like United Airlines or Ruth Chris Steakhouse, like the previous recipients of the CARE Act?
Zero, man.
Zero. Yeah, zero. I love it, man. You know what? That's great. I think that's fantastic. And I love that you're not going for some number that kind of like shocks people. That's a number, 400 a year. It's how much, an unexpected bill is. It's a small percentage increase in sales tax or wherever, or for high income individuals. Like, that's totally sounds very reasonable. And maybe a few years from now, people will say, hey, look what happened, not just in Alaska, but even in South Carolina, they did this dividend thing. So I love it, man.
Absolutely doable, and it absolutely can be paid for, and it'll be the first of its kind on a local level like that. So I mean, it's absolutely a doable and thing that can be accomplished. And I'm hoping I'm going to keep talking to the individuals. I've got some meetings coming up soon. Hopefully we can get it to gain some traction. I'm gonna rely on the Yang Gang to get as much media and publicity as possible when I introduce it, and hopefully we can get it to gain some traction.
I love it. If you send me a link to the details when you're ready, I'm happy to do a whole dedicated Nerds for Humanity deep dive, and I'll pull out the spreadsheet, and I'll make sure it all looks good and tidy, and get the word out.
I told you it was James policy people that actually created it for me. I work with them to do it, but I'm going to take it to the State House and have our bill researchers to go ahead and fact check it and all that, and just to get it all prepared, so I can start working with my fellow representatives in there just to get this thing done.
Yeah, I love it. Like I would be happy to do, like, maybe I'll try and make like an explainer video for anyone that wants to know, like, how does it work and how is he going to pay for it, and we'll kind of lay it out. Jay Perrin wants to know, how do you get paid that $400? Is it monthly, or is it coming at the end of the year, or how does that work?
It's an annual thing. It'll come out right around tax time. So you'll have that $400 that'll be sitting in an account that you can just draw from. So we're looking at it. You'll have different ways that you can get it. Of course, a check or however. So it'll be something that'll just be sitting there, and you can choose which way you want to, how you want to draw from it.
Got it. BTS Studio is asking me about hoop dreams. Do you have a hoop dream story? What is that?
well, I mean, I'm sure they talk about the basketball, man, and my basketball thing, man. Them days are over with. But there's a legislative basketball team here, man. They're already like. Yeah, they're already like, Jermaine, we got you, man.
Dude, talk about lobbyists.
Man. Yeah. So I'm gonna be playing on the legislative basketball team. I told them, I said, listen, we're going undefeated for like the next 8 years, man. We're not gonna lose anymore. So it's great, man. But my basketball thing has been going good.
How are the teams set up? Are they by district, or are they by party, or is it like a?
I don't even know, man. I just know they're like, listen. Seth Rose, he's one of our representatives here, and he was like, listen, Jermaine, we're the best guys on the team. Just give me the ball, I'll get you the rock. I was like, oh my God. So I think we also play against North Carolina as well. So I'm just excited, man. I'm ready to get out there and shoot the ball up, because I'm gonna be one of the youngest guys out there, so I'm ready to play.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it'd be great if the team does have a nice mix of Republicans and Democrats, because like you could probably get to know people in a way that you wouldn't, during normal kind of formal interactions. But yeah, you've got some challenge there in terms of some social media power. Did you see Obama sunk a 3-pointer? Did you see that one?
That, listen, I saw
That's what he does. That's what he does.
I replayed that thing like 12 times in a row. I said, man, that is my president right there, man.
Oh my God. Could you imagine Trump trying to do that?
Yo, he would like throw his back out trying to do that. Like that is one guy. That is Barack Obama is like my all-time favorite guy, man. I want to meet him. I really want to meet this guy, man. That's the only guy who I have not been able to meet yet, man. And I want to meet this guy. I've met all these other people, but I want to meet this dude, man.
Well, Barry, if you're listening to the Nerds Channel, Jermaine Johnson's ready to have coffee with you. Maybe Obama could be a guest member on your basketball team.
Seriously, man. Yeah, and I'm gonna pass him the rock every time, man. I'm gonna shoot it, Barry.
You need a good guard. He seems like he's got Yeah. I don't know how physical he could be under the rim, but you don't need him to do everything.
I didn't even spot him to shoot.
Yeah. No, he seems like a clutch player as well. So I believe that that would be a fun interaction. I was just starting to read his book, The Promised Land, and it's really it's super refreshing to hear a president talk about history and sort of his love of reading, and kind of just takes on a much more nuanced, long form kind of approach to describing the world than we have today. Frankly, with even Trump or Biden, I just feel like Obama was kind of a bit of a scholar president, and God, it's a bit of a shame, because when I saw him even campaigning for Biden, I was like, "What, dude? This is the guy."
I'm telling you, man. I know it's like coming from what we had to what we what we had to what we had. Like looking at the comparison, it's like, oh my God, man. it's almost like a no-brainer. It's like, God dang it. Like,
Yeah,
look, we
it's
were
like
watching me and my wife were watching the First Ladies last night
mhm,
about Michelle Obama, and we
yeah,
were just like, oh, we were just like in awe, like, oh my gosh, man.
yeah.
Like, it's not even about, it wasn't even about him, like the black or the white or any of that stuff. It was like, man, just the, just the presence that they both held, man. I mean, it's just, geez, man, it's just great.
It is, and it's so interesting, just the generational kind of state we're in for 2020, which is like it's like Russell Wilson saying, "Oh, great, the next quarterback of the Seahawks is Brett Favre," and you're like, "Huh?
Yeah,
Why are
yeah.
we going in that direction?" I mean, certainly, I supported Biden for over Trump 1,000%, and I'm super excited that he will be the president. But
Yeah.
I kind of am ready for 2024 too, just because I feel like this is a transitional period for all of us, and it was right to kind of just kind of stabilize the country. But
Yeah.
if you want big change, like what are your thoughts on what's going on at the national level? Like, are you feeling optimistic? Or are you concerned, surprised? Like, what's your take?
Just backing up a little bit. So I understand why people voted for Trump in the beginning. Like I completely understand, man.
Hmm.
Like people were like, listen, we want business, man. Like we want business. We want to run America like a business. And I don't think people did enough research on Trump's background in terms of business. His business, because most of his businesses have failed. But people just see him as a businessman. So I definitely understand, why people wanted to vote for him and run it. A lot of the things that we saw between China and America, and how China was pretty much ripping off America in terms of trading and all the other stuff. So I understand, but now we see that this did not work out the way Americans had thought. That's why Andrew Yang pretty much is what America thought that they were getting in Donald Trump. And now it's we're moving forward now. Joe Biden is the president elect, and I am optimistic. I'm optimistic that Joe Biden has learned from all the mistakes that he has made in the past, and he's been getting grilled by everybody. Everybody's just been grilling him, and I think he has learned from his mistakes of his past. And I think that his cabinet is going to be one of the most diverse that we have ever seen in the history of America, and I think that's a great thing. I think the fact that he's going to bring diversity into the White House so that all ideas can be heard, so that everybody can have a seat at the table, so that everybody can get their ideas out there. I think that's going to do America great, because it's not good when you have a bunch of rich old white guys, all sitting around a table making decisions for a young 7-year-old black child.
Hmm.
It's not right. So you need to have somebody in it that knows what it was like to have been a young black child. We have to have some, the diversity in this so that everybody can, everybody's opinions and feelings and things can be heard, and we can come up with the best solution for the American people. Because most American people, we all pretty much want the same thing. I mean, we all want to have a good job. We all want to spend time with our families. We want to come home and have dinner, and we all want to have water and food and shelter. I mean,
Hmm.
you ask people that thing, but once you start saying Trump or Biden, then all of a sudden now the gloves come off and everybody want to fight. But most of us want the same thing. So I think if you get the most diverse cabinet in there, then we can pretty much get to a consensus about what we all need.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think like Yang was saying, like that Trump was a symptom, and the problems that he was a symptom of are real, and we need to address them. I do feel like you can put America first. You can be tough on China and on Russia and North Korea and Iran and all these places, and still be thoughtful and respectful and honest and data driven. Like, those aren't mutually exclusive things, and hopefully we can get closer to that as we move forward. um Jermaine, I also want to ask you a little bit about what your thoughts are on what Andrew's going to do. What would you like to see him do going forward? Like the election's over. What do you think? If he said, "Hey, Jermaine, what do you think I should do?" What would you tell him?
Oh man, I think we need his thoughts and his ideas in Washington, man. I think we need him to have a seat at the table in his Biden administration. We don't have too many Asian Americans with that type of power or type of say so, and I think we need to seize the opportunity right now. The more diverse we can get, I think that's the better for everybody. So. I want him to be in Washington. I want him to head there and help out Biden and Harris with where we're going. With how we can get there. And then once he gets there, call me.
I love it.
So I can lend my thoughts and my 2 cents to make sure we're heading in the right directions, man. That's one thing I always appreciated about Andrew and Zach and them. A lot of times they would call me for advice or suggestions, and I was like, man, these guys are not they're not too big or too cocky or anything like that to call me and ask me if they're saying the right thing or doing the right thing or heading in the right direction. So I mean they're great individuals, man. So I definitely want to see Andrew heading up there to Washington. I spoke to some people in the Biden administration, and it's quite possible that Andrew will be heading that way. Not going to do all of that, but it's quite possible he'll be heading that way based on the conversations that I've had.
Oh, I would love to see that. And just as a reminder to anybody watching, we do have a change.org petition. I think there's almost 5,000 signatures now asking the Biden transition team to strongly consider Andrew for a senior cabinet role. It looks like we are definitely on their radar, but it never hurts to keep the pressure up. Because, he's still not a household name, and it's easy sometimes with just unconscious bias to not consider Andrew for some of those big cabinet roles. So if you have a chance to sign that petition, please do that if you're watching this now and you think Andrew would be useful in the Biden administration. I personally think that would be amazing, especially since Biden could use some new ideas, some new thinking, some fresh perspectives. And I think Andrew would give that in spades. So fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers definitely crossed, man.
Yeah. Well, Jermaine, I know we're running short on time, so I just wanted to ask you, are there any other kind of closing thoughts or things that you wanted to hit or asks of the audience before we wrap up?
Well, I'm really appreciative of everybody's support, man. I did not win this seat by myself. The Yang Gang, y'all came out in force, man. Y'all showed out in force. I told everybody, my campaign was able to secure support from all 50 states, including Puerto Rico. That's unheard of. all 50 states, including Puerto Rico. I had to ask, the ethics commission if it was okay for me to even accept that donation from Puerto Rico. Is it okay? Can we do that? They're like, yeah, you're good. I'm like, oh my goodness, all 50 states, including Puerto Rico. So, I told the people in my district, hey, listen, you people in my district in District 80 can go anywhere in America and find at least one person that supports you and knows about your community and knows about your district. That is unbelievable. That's amazing. It's just a great thing, man. So I didn't win this seat on my own. I won this seat with everybody, with all the gang, with all of America standing with me, standing by my side. That's why it's not, the new 80 is all of us, man. It's not just here in South Carolina. The new 80 is absolutely all of us, and I think it's just a picture of where we're headed. It's just a small snapshot of where we're headed as a united America. Because it just shows that, hey, we're ready to move forward. We're ready to unite. Some of my biggest donors were Republicans and Trump supporters, man. Because they see that I'm not about the bull. I'm like, listen, I'm for what is right. I'm for what is right. I've had conversations with some of my Republican constituents, and they're like, listen, I'm voting for you, Jermaine. You actually give a crap about our community. Mm-hmm. And so even right after I won, I didn't do anything big. I went out in my community and I was picking up litter on the side of the road, with some other volunteers, just picking up litter on the side of the road. None of them knew I was representative at that point. I was just out there picking up trash with them on the side of the road because I care about the people of my community and I care about our environment and what's going on. So, I think America is moving in the right direction. I think we are, doing some good things, man. And I'm just appreciative of everybody that has supported me along this journey.
I love it, Jermaine. I mean, I still remember our first time when you were on the show, and we were just talking about how you were the South Carolina office for Yang 2020. And that feels like ages ago. And here you are, about to represent your district in the South Carolina State House, and you're pushing on legislation that's going to help real people and make real change. And you're doing it in a really pragmatic kind of achievable way. You're working with people from all different political backgrounds. I mean, this is what we want to see more of throughout the country. And so I remember you telling me, well, I'm a black man who supports an Asian man who likes math. Well, I'm an Asian man who likes a black man who does the right thing. And I support you 1,000%. I really wish you all the best. And I can't wait to get you back on the show after you've mixed it up a little bit there and caused a little bit of good trouble. And see what happens, right?
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna cause a lot of good trouble in there, man. The senior officials have already been talking about me up there in the State House. They're like, "Listen, you got to watch out for this guy." I'm like, "Yes." I've already been requested. I've already had a couple of committees that have already requested me to be on their committees, man. So I mean, it's just
wow, that's great.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm also a little nervous because I'm coming into the State House with a lot of hype here in South Carolina. So it's almost like, remember how LeBron James came in the league and it was like, can he live up to the hype?
Yeah.
I'm almost like at that point. So it's like I'm nervous because I want to make everybody proud, man.
Yeah. Well, we've got your back, and I know you're going to be a workhorse and not just a show horse. So that's fantastic, and you're going to get stuff done. And at the end of the day, like it's all about results, and I have no doubt that you're going to be able to bring people together. I think that's your secret power, is that you can bring people together, and it's not like a us versus them kind of vibe with you. And I think that's something that will kind of set you apart and help people in your district and in the state. So fingers crossed, and we will definitely have you back, sir, to share some war stories, at least maybe some tape of you dunking on people or something.
I'm gonna give you all my highlight tapes, man.
That's right. We're gonna get you drafted. All right, Dr. Johnson, with that, we're gonna say goodbye, nerds.
Goodbye, nerds.